had a chat today with Pinegrow CEO Matjaz. We discussed Pinegrow's areas of focus, their philosophy as a business and a product, and their plans for WordPress. In the span of 1 hour, I went from comfortable to confident about my decision to make Pinegrow my agency's primary tool. In this video, I'm going to share some of the insights that I gained and how our conversation reinforced the insights that I had previously inferred. Hi, I'm Adam with Peak Performance Digital. We're a web consulting firm that provides websites and digital marketing solutions to run, grow, and market your business. A little over 6 months ago, I made the decision to make the Pinegrow web editor a tool for my agency that would complement the Oxygen visual site editor and WordPress's block editor. Since then, a few things in the WordPress ecosystem changed that lit a fire under me to officially set the direction of making it our primary tool and to take steps towards creating standards and processes to support it. If there was any one thing that stood out to me about our meeting today, it was Matjaz's statement that Pinegrow was built to give freedom to developers. He said that he built Pinegrow 8 years ago with openness in mind, so that developers are free to extend and integrate with Pinegrow, and also so that developers would be free from lock-in to Pinegrow, since it outputs clean and standard HTML, CSS, and PHP code. That's worth repeating. It's free from vendor lock-in, and it's free to extend and integrate. Just so there's no confusion, the Pinegrow platform is free as in free speech, not free as in free beer. It's a paid tool with an active team of developers, excellent support, and in the case of the interactions module, an enterprise license for GreenSock. One of the main questions I had for Matjaz was about the product's focus and primary market. He mentioned that he sees websites going in 2 branches, but sharing the same underlying roots. One branch is to better support WordPress development of custom blocks and themes, and the other branch is adding support for technologies like Vue, React, and Angular. We've already seen quite a bit of movement on the WordPress front with the WordPress Builder module and the recent shop builder for WooCommerce. What I'm really excited about is the upcoming WordPress plugin and their plans for Pinegrow Online. I didn't realize this until today, but Pinegrow Online actually runs as a WordPress plugin already. Seriously, go to any of the Pinegrow Online demo sites and check out the source code. I asked Matjaz how they envision the Pinegrow WordPress plugin working. He told me that it'll have the same open philosophy as the desktop version, but that it'll run in a browser and remove some of the steps you need to go through to support a local environment. He specifically said that you'll be able to remove the plugin and continue to use the blocks or themes as you created it, just like you can with the desktop version of Pinegrow. He even went on to say how he's not interested in being woken up in the middle of the night and scrambling to fix a security flaw in the builder that has taken down thousands of sites. He wants agencies to be able to simply deactivate the builder plugin and still have the sites and the blocks work as they were designed. Prior to our meeting, I sent him a short video with some of the things that I'd like to see on Pinegrow's roadmap. Some of those items were the ability for third parties to create and sell ready-made blocks and templates, pre-built components for things like accordions, animated progress indicators, flip boxes, image comparisons, a visual menu builder for WordPress, and a visual WordPress query builder for complex and nested queries, similar to the functionality of the one that Oxygen introduced in version 3.9. Matjaz raised an excellent point that they're trying to balance the desire for pre-built and helper components with their policy of being framework agnostic. I appreciate that they've given it that kind of thought, and while I would love to see them create things that make my life easier, I appreciate that they aren't doing it at the expense of compatibility. One thing we did discuss, however, is how they might be able to leverage the interactions module to support some of these things, since it has so many of those capabilities already and is licensed separately from the core web editor. The interactions module already has sliders, galleries, and tooltips. The great thing about them is that you can edit and modify those components any way that you want once you add them to your project. In the future, I'd love to see them leverage this interactions module to deliver more components than they already have. Towards the end of our meeting, we briefly discussed the third-party ecosystem for Pinegrow, or rather the lack of third-party developers. With such an open platform, I would think that developers would be falling over themselves to build on it. Sadly, Pinegrow suffers from the chicken or egg syndrome, where third parties would help increase its visibility and value, but without a large user base, they aren't incentivized to build on it. Personally, I'm hoping that the WordPress plugin helps make it more mainstream and attracts both users and developers alike. Lastly, we talked about content creation, tutorials, and how to spread the word about Pinegrow. Pinegrow is an incredibly deep product, and it enables nearly unlimited possibilities. If you spend any time on their site or YouTube channel, you'll find an incredible wealth of information, documentation, tutorials, and how-tos. In fact, there's so many available that it's a bit overwhelming in my opinion. Matjaz brought up the valid point that they have the how covered, but they could use some help communicating the what developers should do and why they should be doing them. To that end, I'd love to hear from you about what kind of content you want to see around Pinegrow. I already have a list of topics I plan to cover, such as workflow differences between Pinegrow and other WordPress tools, how to create a WordPress starter theme in Pinegrow, and how to create WordPress menus. I'm sure I could dive deep into any one of those topics and create a year's worth of content, so it's always helpful to know just what it is that interests you. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel to get more related information to websites, web technologies, or digital marketing. You can also visit us online at peakperformancedigital.com or email us at info@peakperformancedigital.com.